Hello folks, and welcome back to yet another video of Tico Woodworking. I know it's been a while, a year in the making actually, but it's finally here. The tutorial video on how to make a wooden bass clef from scratch using only hand tools, no power tools involved. So the idea for this video came about as a result of Mayoorshan, who dropped a comment under the Treble Clef video, and if you haven't checked that out, make sure to check it out. I'll link it in the description and also put it up somewhere over here in the screen. I took up the challenge and here we are. Now before we get started with this step-by-step guide on how to make a bass clef for beginners, you know the routine. Hit subscribe, click on the notification bell, drop a like, and at the end of this video drop your thoughts, feedback in the comment section below, and whether you were able to try this tutorial out and what the outcome was like. Now we're going to start off by describing the tools and materials necessary to make the bass clef, as well as some warnings and things to keep in mind before we get into the actual work.
Before we get started, there's a couple of things that we need to focus on. The first thing is your workspace. Find a good workspace to work with. You'll need a flat surface with plenty of space, plenty of good, strong natural lighting. If you don't have natural lighting, that's perfectly alright. A strong source of artificial light will do just fine, and preferably a place where you're not going to be disturbing others, because it might get quite noisy, and you're good to go. So with the workspace sorted out, we're going to be moving into the tools that we need, right? So the most important tool that you're going to need is your common sense, because be careful when you're starting. If this is your first woodworking project, please be careful. Grab a pair of gloves if you have, because it can get quite risky. All you need is one slip of the blade and you're going to be one finger less for the rest of your life. And my first woodworking project, I was this close to losing this finger. Thank God, with God's grace. I have all 10 of my fingers even after 6 years of woodworking, but it's just one slip that can lead to a slice, right? Grab a mask, because there's going to be some dust coming out. Like I said, we're not going to be using power tools, we're going to be using hand tools, so it's not as risky, but it's still risky. Getting right into the tools, you're going to need a hacksaw blade. If you're from Sri Lanka or Stone Butter Company, yeah, that's the thing. And it's about 10 rupees each, and that's when I used to buy it. I don't know how much it is now. If you're planning on doing more woodwork, might as well buy 5 or 6, because it will get blunt real quick once you start cutting up a lot of wood. I don't think this was meant for cutting wood, I'm not sure, but it works perfectly fine and I'll stuck to it. You're going to need a chisel. Again, I don't use the bigger ones because I do small projects, right? So this works just fine. Again, if you don't have a chisel at home, you can use an old flat edge screwdriver, because this is an old flat edge screwdriver. This was the first chisel that I used for my first woodworking project 6 years ago. I still have it because sentimental reasons and things. If it's really old and blunt, you can just sharpen it up with a whetting stone and get it to a fine edge. After the screwdriver, you're going to need a hammer. For obvious reasons, we're going to need to hammer things up. And I don't think I'll be needing a blade for this project, but if you need one, it's good as well to have it. And I have a ruler for some reason, I don't know. A couple of pencils in case, drawing things. A brush to get rid of the sawdust. These are the older blades that I have. I've gone through like tens of these blades, probably 20-30 blades, and just wanted to show you guys. You're also going to need some sandpaper, and there's different numbers of sandpaper. So this is P120, this is P180, and this is P220, right? And once we get to the stage at the end where we need to sand the things up, then I'll explain how exactly we're going to use the sandpaper. It's good to have some glue lying around in case, this is super glue by the way, in case something cracks or breaks. Super glue has saved me plenty of times. And also, last but not least, we have varnish if you really want to get the fine look. If you don't, that's perfectly alright. You can use an alternative, which I will mention at the end of this video. You don't really need varnish to get that fine look. And with all those things said and done, finally you will need a bottle of water, because you need to stay hydrated and it's going to take time. So get ready, grab your gloves, and let's get started. The first thing you need is a piece of wood, right? And this is the piece of wood that I'm going to use for today's project. But I am no professional woodworker, so I cannot tell you what wood this is exactly. But I can tell you that this is a good piece of wood, because I used the same piece of wood to make the treble clef from last video. And I could also tell you that this is a good piece of wood because I made the bed ranks from a similar piece of wood. Me, of course, I've experimented with the different types of wood that I have lying around in my place, and I know which one is working, which one is don't. So don't go around trying to use some sort of wood like this that is from construction, because that's going to give you one hell of a time. As you can see, I tried and I failed to even make a dent on this, so it doesn't work. But if you can, go ahead. Any arts and crafts shops will have good pieces of wood that you can work with for a very cheap price. Buy one, you can do plenty of projects with that, but I'm just going to use this because I like the end color of this as well. Again, it comes down to experimenting. Make some cuts in a couple of woods, and if it cuts well, that probably means it's a good piece of wood. So the first thing we're going to be doing is drawing our bass clef. You can either draw it according to your thing, or you can trace it out from any picture that you found online to get it started. And I'm gonna put some sort of stand like this. Forgive me, musicians, if my bass clef is a little off. Let this shade it a bit. We're good to go. So again, this is the piece of wood that I'm going to use for today's project. I've sawed off a piece from it already, and we will be using this. So the next thing you do is cut it out, and you just have to paste it using super glue or whatever glue you have onto your piece of wood. Make sure it's the right size, and once you have pasted it, we are good to go. As you can see, I've already made some cuts. This is the shape that we need, right? So we need to cut off the unwanted parts, like the part between these two circles, and this part and the edges of. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make some cuts into those areas, and I've already done it in the interest of time. And we'll be making a couple more cuts as well to get rid of those areas. So when you're making these cuts, make sure the teeth of the blade is pointing towards the direction that you're cutting, and that you're pushing the cut instead of pulling it. So I'm going to do this, and once you've made those cuts, the next thing you need to do is remove those pieces. So grab your flathead screwdriver and keep it. So these are the two cuts there, and this is the piece I want to get rid of. So I'm going to keep it here and go a light hammer there. Right? You're not going to get it done in the first shot. It's a slow process. And then you slowly, and notice it's coming off. You need to control the shots. Make sure you don't do it like really strong, and just there you go. You've removed your first piece, and you've got a couple more to go. And we've removed all these parts from here, and we need to remove this part and this inside part over here, and this middle part over here. Same way. As you can see, it kind of looks like a number 2 now. However, there's a bit more fine tuning to go before we can get that shape done, and the paper has removed. So I need to get rid of this part over here. Need to shape this circle out. So once the rough shape has been made using the hacksaw and the chisel and hammer, the next thing that is left for us to do is use sandpaper to get the fine shape.
But before that, I'm going to cut off a piece from the front and the back so that it is thinner than the pedestal, which is going to be the same width. I cannot stress enough just how important it is to wear your gloves, because I did a quick cut without the gloves and I got a cut on my finger. So make sure you wear the gloves at least for the hand that is holding the project. Just to show you how it's done, I'm going to be making a cut about here and here. Right, so we're almost there, and I'm going to make the cuts over here. So I know exactly what is the width of the final bass clef. As you can see, this part is almost done, and I need to take away a little bit from this side as well. The little incision that I've made on this side, so that's the width that I'm going to remove from the front, and from the back let's make Make sure you don't rush your final cuts, because if you undercut you can always cut more, but if you overcut, well, you can't take it back. Right, we've got that piece out, and that is your replica bass clef, and that is what it's going to look like. And this is what we have on our side, and as you can see, the pedestal needs a lot of work to be done. I've overcut a bit on this side. I might have to see what I can do about that. Maybe I'll just remove this part off entirely, so make the pedestal like that. And yeah, we might have to work on that a bit. Right, it came out in pieces. That is the bass clef that we have for now, with the shape all finely cut out and the pedestal stays perfectly well, so no issues about balance. All we have left is, like I said, to sand this out properly to get a fine shape. And yeah, my hacksaw has become blunt after all that cutting, and I might have to get myself a new one. All that we have left to do now is to decide how we're going to do the pedestal, right? And I'm thinking, yeah, we have to do something about the pedestal, but it looks pretty good, you know. I'm quite proud of how it came out. To start off, I cut off a piece from the P120, or tore it off more like, because I forgot to bring scissors, and we're going to start sanding. Once you start sanding, there are a few important things that we need to take care of. Most importantly, wear the mask, because there's going to be a lot of sawdust coming out and it's going to be difficult, right? And get yourself eye protection, because your eyes are going to start itching if the sawdust goes in like a lot. There are 3 types of sandpapers with me, and you can use anything because this is a small product. You don't really have to go into the details. You don't even need 3 stages of sandpaper. So this is P120. D, which is the rougher version of it. So this is what I'm going to use first to get rid of all the rough cuts and the cut marks and all of this stuff. It is just smoothing it out a bit. So I want you to notice the cuts on the bass clef before we begin sanding, so you can see the effect of each layer. And then we move on to the P180. I'll get a piece out of the P180 and start sanding this so that it gets even smoother, and then we go to the P220 for the final fine tuning of the shape and all of that. So start off with the lower number if you're using this number scale, and work your way up, and it will be good enough to varnish.
As you can see, most of the cuts have been smoothed out. Let's start on this side. I'm going to use the P121 to get these rough edges into a nice circular shape, and these two and all of the edges as well. First corner rounded. Not bad at all. I think I need to tighten this edge a bit and round these a bit more, and of course sand these parts. Well, still work to do. So now we go on to the P180 and let's get started. Just so you can see how it looks like before, and let's do an after. And there we go, we're done with the 180 as well, and that is what it looks like now. As you can see, it looks pretty good, almost there. We're gonna do the P220, just a quick brush through, and then it's time to finish it off. Well, with that, I think we are truly done with the bass clef. It's good to me. It has come out much better than I expected that it would. What do you think? Pretty good. Like I said at the beginning of this video, it is not absolutely necessary for you to use varnish. You could use something like oil, some sort of wood oil. If you checked out the battering video that I did some time back, I coated that in olive oil if I am correct. But there are different types of mineral oils out there that you can use to coat your wooden projects. I chose varnish because it gives this glossy finish, but if you do not want the glossy finish, feel free to go ahead and use oil, which would give a kind of matte finish and not as glossy as varnish. Anyways, so what I'm going to do is really simple. I'm just going to put this in there and let it coat. Yeah, use gloves. I've got super glue on my hand anyway, so I need to wash it off. And we've got that all over the place. I don't think it's healthy to get varnish on your hands. But yeah, that is the end of the bass clef project. It was great working with you guys, and I hope you enjoyed watching this as much as I enjoyed making it. As always, like and subscribe and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, take care.